Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. It's good to be on with you tonight, and really excited about tonight. Hey, Nicole, good to see you. Good to be on with you tonight. Do me a favor while I'm getting all of my devices together. Go ahead and fill up the chat area. Let me know where you're tuned in from. Okay, city, state. If you're from America, or country if you're not from America. Let's see it. Who do we have with us tonight? Looking forward to seeing you as well, Amicia. I'm glad you're coming. I saw that today. Really excited about that. Can't wait to see you in person. See you again. Dallas. All right. If you're from Dallas, I better see you in 2 weeks. Venezuela. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Huntersville, North Carolina. Hey, Tammany. Good to see you. Hey, y'all are saying hey. Not tell me where you're from. Colorado Springs. Muskegon. Did I say that right? Michigan. Jacksonville, Florida. Fresno, California. Jacksonville, Florida again. Plainsboro, New Jersey. Greensboro, North Carolina. Thank you, Caitlin. Davenport, Florida. Yeah, I hate I'm gonna miss you too, brother. I really do. But you enjoy. I think you're going to Africa. Enjoy. Alabama, Lynchburg. Hey, Tracy. St. Louis, Maryland, Chicago, St. Louis again, Memphis. Thank y'all so much. Yes, Samantha, can't wait to see you as well. I'm glad you're coming to Dallas. Bainbridge, Georgia. Thank you so much. Wheaton, Illinois. West Palm Beach, Florida. Virginia Beach. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm tired. Thank y'all. Y'all are so concerned. You can normally tell when I'm a little beat. It's been a day, for real. But I'm going to teach tonight. Do you believe that? Atlanta, Georgia. Just give me a second to get my energy together. Kansas City. Um, how does my dad feel about Micah getting traded? I didn't know he got traded. I had heard that we're talking about it earlier, so he went to the Packers. Is that what happened? Clinton, Maryland, Philly, Memphis, Tennessee, St. Louis. Thank you so much. Did he go to the Packers? Is that what happened? Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's wild, but that's typical Dallas. Dallas is a mess, a train wreck. Sorry, Dallas. I'll be there in a couple of weeks, but y'all football team is a train wreck. That's crazy. Tariq Greensboro, good to see you, brother. Hey, Naomi, back from the Bahamas. So jealous. I hope you enjoyed yourself. That's crazy that they sent him to the Packers is insane. Yeah, my complexion is coming back. It's starting to fade from vacation. I don't know if I'm going to get another vacation. My birthday's coming up September 23rd, and I cannot get my children's schedule figured out. And so I may not be going on a birthday trip out of the country this year, and I'm just trying to process it. It's killing me. Um, yeah, Atlanta. What's up, O'Neill? Brother Jonathan, good to see you. Huntsville, always. Libra, yep, that's me. I've been told. I'm assuming that's true, Nicole. You'll have to let me know. Um, Indiana, thank you so much. All right, y'all. Make sure you let me know where you're tuned in from and like the video and share the video. I really, really, really would appreciate it. Let me just move some announcements around really quick, and then I'm going to get right into this tonight. Um, there's so much going on for two first round picks and a third time Pro Bowler. They did okay. Yeah, it's a good pick for sure, or a good trade, I guess. But Dallas, man, it's just a train wreck. Atlanta, the football team, that is. Y'all be looking at me crazy. LA, Atlanta, thank you so much. Philly, I know Philly's happy tonight. Hey, April, good to see you. Yeah, thank y'all so much for real. Flint, Michigan, appreciate all of you. Do me a favor, if you haven't already liked the video, share the video. Let's get this number up and going, especially on TikTok. We'll try to slowly get there. I have been changing my cadence for my content, and I finally came up with a cadence that I think I'm more satisfied with that will kick off next week. And so if it's felt like chaos on my page, it's not chaos. Just pivoting and just kind of feeling my way through a new posting cadence. But I appreciate all of your support. I've got so many announcements and so many things to say, but let me start with Dallas. Dallas, we're going to be in Dallas on September the 13th. And the irony is, I was planning to be at the fight in Vegas on the 13th, but this was the best date I could come to Dallas. And so we just had to sacrifice and be there. But should be seeing a formal announcement coming out soon. I am doing a bring five, get one free deal. And I'm not talking about a ticket to Dallas. For everybody that comes to the Dallas show, anybody that comes to the Dallas show that brings five people with you, of course, those five people need to get paid tickets or pay for their tickets. Anybody that brings five guests to the Dallas show is going to get a free session with me. The Dallas numbers are actually doing pretty good. I looked at them today, finally. I haven't even had time to look at them. But I'm doing this because I really want to gear up for opening up my books, which will come up later in the fall. And you guys know once I open up my books, they really swallow up really fast. They really, really, really do. And so you'll see some more information about that coming up soon. But if you bring five people to the Dallas show, anybody that brings five people to the Dallas show will get a free coaching and counseling session with me. And so I'm excited about it. We'll have more information coming on that real soon. Before we get into this, because I'm not going to waste time, I'm going to jump right in tonight because there's so much ground that I need to cover. I'm supposed to be doing part 2 of the correction wound in your attachment style, but I pivoted. I really was led to talk about this tonight. I talked about this with my subscribers on Monday, and so what you're going to get tonight is really a taste of what my subscribers get every single Monday night. So if you're not subscribed on IG or Patreon, I would highly recommend that you do it now, because those conversations are typically more next level. And I was a little hesitant on whether or not to talk about this tonight in this format, but I'm going to talk about it tonight in this format because I think this is just a message that just needs to be heard. And I was really led to do it, and I'm going to do it tonight. And so I'll get to that in a second. Let me just say this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your support. If I say something that makes sense, make sure you type church in the comments with as many R's as possible. Do me a favor. Let's keep the chat area as professional as possible. We haven't had any scragglers in the comment section in a very long time, but in the event that they come, don't go back and forth with birds. Just drop an eagle in the chat area and our moderators will do a good job of shooting them out of the air. All right. And so let's just try to keep the comment section very, very respectful of other perspectives. People don't always have to agree with me. That's fine. But people are tuned in for a reason. So I don't really care about that. But you all just be respectful to one another tonight in the comment section, especially tonight when you understand what we're talking about. Also, let me put the ways to support on the screen. Thank you all so much for your support on last week. And you know how this works. I want you to support the show. If you support the show, we will leave this talk up for you so that you can catch the replay. If not, we will only send it to our subscribers. And Doc does this not only because he wants you to buy him a salad for this information that you're getting tonight, but also so that you can participate in your own rescue. We got to stop being freeloaders. Oh my God. Thank you, Naomi. I appreciate you always. And people were already giving today. I got a couple of alerts. People have already sent cash apps. I think people really want tonight. And tonight is a special live because I'm going to talk about a lot. I'm going to talk a lot about what healing looks like, because I get this question a lot. Doc, how do I know I'm healed? What does that look like? And so I'm interrupting what's supposed to be part 2 of a message or a series tonight to talk about this. But it's probably not going to be what y'all think it is. And so support the show. The ways to support are on the screen. And you have to support the show, or like I said, I'm not going to leave it up and I'll just share it with my subscribers who support me on a monthly basis. All right. And so let's talk about this tonight and let's get right into it. I want you to type in the chat tonight's topic, and it is what healing is and is not. Put that in the chat. Let's get ready to work. All right. Would you put that in the chat? What healing is and is not. We're going to talk about that. And this is going to be important. What healing is and is not. Grab your journal, get something to record notes with. Thank you again, Naomi. And I want to jump right in. All right. And I don't even think I've started this fast on a live, but I want to get in it because I want to take my time. I'm going to belabor some points tonight. Let me just be honest with you. My goal tonight is to offend anybody who is on a healing journey for the wrong reason. Oh And this is all going to make sense in a little while. All right. But I'm telling you, a lot of people are on the healing journey for the wrong reason. Thank you, Tiff. You guys are supporting already. Thank you. And I'm going to prove it tonight. All right. So let's get into this. What healing is and what healing is not is what we're talking about. Grab your journals. Again, I'll sprinkle in some more announcements as we go through the night. But let's get right into this. This is the first thing that I want you to remember. You can record it, or you can just remember it in your head or put it in the chat. There is absolutely nothing sexy about the healing process. There is nothing sexy about the healing process. It's not. There is nothing sexy about the healing process. I don't care what you've seen on social media. I don't care what you've seen on TikTok. I don't care what you've seen on whatever you've seen. There is absolutely nothing sexy about a real healing journey. Thank you, C-Lynn. You're on fire tonight. Appreciate you. Yeah, because a lot of you are going to find out you in C32C tonight. Ain't nothing sexy about a real healing journey. And you know why I'm starting off this way? Because some of us need to hear some real truths about healing. And some of you saying, I see a question. Who wants to be sexy? A whole lot of y'all. It's the same reason a lot of y'all want to be married. You want to be seen. Oh my God. Look, the divorce rate ain't lying. So you would think everybody want to be married just to have a husband or have a wife. No, some of y'all want to be married just to post Instagram pictures. Post on social media and look happy. Besides, in this fake plastic culture that we live in, most of you would rather look happy than be happy, which is why you choose bologna instead of steak. Oh my God. And you walk around and smile like you got bologna when we all know you got steak. A lot of people doing stuff for what it looks like. People stay in bad marriages for what it looks like. Oh my God. People stay in bad relationships for what it looks like. Oh my God. People stay on bad jobs for what they look like. Oh my God. What else is new? I'm telling you, in this space, when you make decisions that align with your values, that align with you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, sometimes those are decisions that are courageous decisions that people won't understand. I've lived it. Doc, how you get all this passion and fervor and this knowledge? You got the knowledge, how you get all this passion and fervor for this work? Because I've lived 98% of what I'm teaching. It takes courage to choose you. It takes courage to choose you over looking like something. You know how many people are miserable, going to bed miserable tonight, laying beside a partner that they can't stand, who will not do the work, and they refuse to leave because of what it looks like? Oh my God. So I'm going to give you the raw truth tonight about modern day healing. And this is a live you're going to want to replay over and over again. You're going to want to send to all your girlfriends and boyfriends who walking around lying, talking about they're on a healing journey. Most people not on a healing journey. I've said so many times this week that I could almost probably say it in Spanish. Healing is not supposed to feel good. When you've had your heart broken, there ain't nothing that feels good about having a broken heart. There's nothing that feels good about being dysfunctional. There's nothing that feels good about being abandoned as a child and having to deal with all the wounds that come with it. Ain't nothing that feels good about that. So if all you got to show for your healing journey is lip gloss, you're probably not doing the work. Well, Doc, don't you think that's judgmental? Yeah, it is. Oh my God. But I had quite a few new clients this week. And a few of them had some startling revelations at the end. One guy looked at me and said, Doc, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I didn't think this was as advertised when we set this up. There's no way I thought this was gonna be as hard in person. But you proved me wrong. This real work. I said, welcome. Welcome to death row. Oh my God. I looked at him and said, welcome to death row.
Healing journey ain't supposed to be easy. Y'all get off the internet. So let me give you some raw truth about this modern day healing work. And some of you need to send this to your family and friends tonight. If we can leave this show up, support the show. For many people, I'm going to give you five false things that people mistake as the healing journey. Y'all writing this down? Hurry, you're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week. Subscribers, I added 1 or 2 more to the list. I'm going to give you 5 things that people mistake as part of the healing journey. This is going to help some of y'all. You ready? Number 1, many people think the healing journey is self-awareness. It's not. Oh my God. What is self-awareness? I'm glad you asked. We should know this definition by now. Self-awareness is honesty. I don't like those. About who you are, where you are, and what you're doing at any given time. Thank you, Chocolate Chick. Self-awareness, honesty about who you are, where you are, and what you're doing at any given time. Here's the truth. Self-awareness isn't healing. Honesty is just the first step. Let me go on and make some of y'all mad. Self-awareness is not healing. Honesty is just the first step. You know how I know? Because many of you are with people. You're in relationships with people who are honest enough to admit what their problems are. Guess what? They ain't aware enough to do something about it. Oh my God. There's a whole lot of y'all that are connected to people who are self-aware. They can be honest about who they are, where they are, what they're doing. But you know what? They ain't quite figured out how to take the next step and do something about it. And let me help y'all. There is nothing worse than a person that is aware of their flaws and still not doing nothing about it. I get this question a lot. Doc, what's the hardest client you work with? It ain't the addict. Nah, it ain't the drug addict, ain't the cocaine addict, it ain't the crackhead, it ain't people that's been abused by as a kid, it ain't people that's been cheated on, it ain't none of that. You know what my hardest client is? The people that get on my screen and can admit what they're doing wrong, but they ain't figured out how to do something about it. Oh my God. And this is, many of your husbands and wives look just like this. Oh, they can tell you, honey, I know I'm this, I'm that. I need to fix this. I need to do that. But they ain't done nothing about it. And here you are 15 years later in prison with a roommate, a son or daughter. And here's the problem. In traditional counseling and therapy, they think, many of you that are traditional counselors and therapists, think that self-awareness is the work. It ain't. Self-awareness is not the work. Acknowledgement is good. Action is better. Oh my God. Put it in the chat. Acknowledgement is good. Action is better. You know why? Because acknowledgement ain't going to fix your marital problems. Acknowledgement ain't going to fix your communication issues. Acknowledgement ain't going to tie up your childhood trauma. And in traditional counseling and therapy sessions, you're told as long as you acknowledge, oh my God, you're doing the work. That's a bald-faced lie. Self-awareness is not healing. It is the first step. Acknowledgement is good. Action is better. And you know who hates this language? Nobody hates this language more than this entitled, weak, trophy generation that feels like, hey, doc, I showed up. You ought to be glad I showed up. Many of you are in relationships with people like this. You know, the kind that you have to drag to therapy, you have to drag to counseling, you got to drag to church. Oh my God. You got to drag to the temple and the mosque. And then they want you to throw a party and give them a plaque and a corsage because they showed up. It's a reflection of our entitled generation who thinks that because you showed up, you're owed something. That is no different than acknowledging something and doing nothing about it. And then some of y'all who trying to be on a real journey get so confused, some magically how, when you say, I don't know what I should do. I've been here for 30 years. I don't know if I should stay or go. And they've been acknowledging for the last 25 years how crazy they were, but they never did anything about it. And so then when I show up on your screen and I say to you that you coming on my screen ain't good enough and you admitting your flaws ain't good enough, it's a start. But if you ain't doing nothing about it, you ain't on no journey. You just confessing. And healing is greater than confession. Confession don't change you. Confession acknowledges. Action changes you. I know. I'm telling y'all right now, there is absolutely nothing worse in my space than being on calls with people who can acknowledge what they're doing wrong, but they refuse to do anything about it. Oh my God. And this entitled generation loves it. Y'all want to be given credit for showing up. I grew up in a time where showing up was the bare minimum, which means if you're in a relationship or connected to someone, or maybe you're just going through your own personal journey by yourself, to acknowledge your flaws is just the bare minimum. It's the bare minimum. And if that's all you're offering, you cannot open your mouth and say you're doing the work. Doc, I'm self-aware. I know what my problems are. I'm on this journey. No, you're not. You ain't left the house yet. Oh my God. Yeah, y'all just be throwing money away. Why? Because you want to look like you in counseling. You want to look like you're in therapy. You want to look like you're doing the work. And then you have the audacity. You go to one counseling session. You admit what your problems are. You don't do no work. You don't do nothing to change it. You don't put no action steps in motion. And then you have the audacity to post on social media that you're on a healing journey. No, you're not. Bro, sis, you ain't left your house yet. And if I'm gonna be frank with you, especially those of you that are in relationships with people where y'all got problems and you've threatened to leave 32 times, 32 and a half times, you've threatened to leave. And so finally they say stuff like, well, I go to therapy, don't leave, I'll go to therapy. You do realize that if people just come and pay money to talk to somebody like me or somebody else, and they can acknowledge all this stuff, but they do nothing about it, them coming to therapy so you won't leave ain't nothing more than manipulation. And you become a victim of that if you absolutely fall for it. Here's breaking news. You don't need a therapist to acknowledge your flaws. I want y'all to put that in the chat. You don't need no therapist to acknowledge your flaws. All you need is a mirror. Y'all paying therapists and counselors to tell the truth. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. You don't need a therapist or a counselor to tell the truth. What you need is some self-awareness. And that's what y'all do. Oh, let me pay this money to go see Doc because I got to just go do the work. And you pay me just to tell the truth when the reality is you don't need a counselor or a therapist to tell the truth. What you need is self-awareness. I'll tell you what you need. You need a good counselor, therapist, coach who can help you move from truth to action. That's where some of y'all missing. So if all you're doing is walking around telling the truth to your therapist every week on the couch while you're smoking a cigar and you think you're doing the work, I'm telling you right now to your face, you're not. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let me give you a second truth about modern day healing talk. Y'all writing this down in your journal? This is getting good. Y'all not supporting the show. Oh, y'all mad now. It's going to get worse. Let me give you a second raw truth about this modern day healing talk. Write this down. When it comes to modern day healing, many people look at healing as more of a sexy thing than being genuinely interested. No, I want you to put that in your chat. I want you to put that in your notes and in the comments. More people look at healing as more of a sexy thing than being genuinely interested. You know, it's sexy now to say, oh, I'm on a healing journey. Oh my girl, man, I met this dude and he on his healing journey. Well, what kind of work he doing? I don't know, but he told me he healing. Some of y'all don't ask no questions. Some of you fellas are just as bad. Yeah, bro, I think this is the one. How you know, man? Man, she said she on a healing journey. What's she healing from? What kind of work she doing? Some of y'all believe anything. You like what it looks like. You know, it's kind of like sausage. It's kind of like sausage. It is a combination of a whole lot of crap that when it comes together, it squeezes out this sausage link that you smile and eat, and you have no idea what it took to make that. Watch this. And if you knew what it took to make that, you probably would not want it. Oh my God. Here's the truth. I have people that are mentees. I've been asked from people all around the world about creating a mentoring program to try to build some type of program. I'm looking into that. But one of the things that I tell mentees and people that want to be menteed and trained and coached, one of the things that I tell them that most people don't have the guts to tell you, and that is, thank you for admiring Doc. Doc appreciates the accolades. He's so grateful and honored when I meet people in person of how kind y'all are to me and how complimentary you are. But here's the hardcore truth. If you had saw me in the middle of my journey about 8 years ago, you would not be able to recognize me. Healing is hard work. And many of you just want to look healed. You don't want to go through the process of becoming sausage. And this was in the middle of a near 18, 19-year career in this counseling coaching space. Oh my God. You guys are in love with the aesthetics of healing. You want the benefits. I'm going to get to that in a second. Of healing. You don't want to do the work. And this is why, and let me put some of you single folks on game. When somebody asks you and tell you, and you meet somebody and they blink in their eyes and you blink in yours, and y'all feel the butterflies, and they say, oh, I'm on a healing journey. She say that, bro, start asking some questions. You want some questions? Like, okay, sure. What kind of work you doing? What areas are you focusing on with your healing journey? What have you drastically improved as a result of your healing journey? What's different post your healing journey than before you started this journey? Hey, do me a favor. Define what the work is. That one was salad worthy. You welcome, all you single folks. That's speed dating and on dating apps like somebody crazy. Ask them to define what the work looks like. Oh, y'all take it at face value. Oh, I'm doing the work. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. I'm so impressed. Marry me. Marry me. Tell them to define the work. What does the work look like for you, and how often do you do this work, said work? You know, are you like most people that go to Planet Fitness, you show up once a month? Are you doing this work daily? Oh my God. For most people, this healing thing is the next sexy thing. It's just sexy. And I get it. I totally get it. When you heal, there's a different energy on you, i.e., spirit on you. It is. I was at a city. That city will remain nameless. But I was at a city at a tour, and the lady gave me a big old fat wet kiss on my beard. Hug, because if you ever met me on tour, I sit there and I hug everybody until it's time for everybody to go. I stay there. And I talk to people as long as they want to talk. And this lady gave me a big old fat, big juicy hug and big old juicy kiss on my beard, and I could feel the spit in my beard. Oh my God. And she said, Doc, young man. I like when old people talk to me like that. She said, Doc, young man. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, let me tell you something, young man. You're better in person than you are online. Let me ask y'all this. For all of you that's in this work to look sexy, let me ask you something. Are you better in person than you are online? Or do the filters have us all fooled because you in this game to try to look like something you really not? For many of you, the answer is B. I don't care what you say. For many of you, the answer is B. It is about looking healed more than it is being healed. Because you know what? Healing don't always look good. Sometimes healing don't look like a three-piece suit. Sometimes the healing looks like sweatpants and a t-shirt. Ladies, sometimes healing don't look like that 22-piece in your head. Sometimes healing looks like your hair pulled back with some leggings and a sweatshirt on. It's work. See in the thing. Naomi, I second that. I'm not making this up. Doc, you bragging. Well, if you think it's bragging, level up. I did the work to earn this. Your conversation's even different when you've done the work. Your swag is different when you've done the work. Let's talk about a third raw truth. I'm going to keep going. This helping anybody so far? Let's talk about a third raw truth when you've done the work. Because this stuff just needed to be said. Here's a third raw truth when it comes to work. This healing work or healing talk. Number 3, it's trendy, so it becomes appealing. Healing work is trendy, so it becomes appealing. Healing work is so trendy that it's appealing now. You know, because this generation always jumps on the next hottest thing. Now, we don't count how much it costs to be on the hottest thing, but because this is the hottest thing, people just get on the train. And these are the same people that try to build a building without counting the cost. Oh my God. For many people, healing is just trendy. And I'm gonna just keep it a G with y'all. And I got receipts. Just go back and look at my content. If y'all don't believe this, go back to about 2021 and start looking at my content. You know, the videos that's got like 30 likes. Go back and look at those videos when I started talking about healing, and then do a comparison in 2021 to me talking about healing and who was talking about healing at that time. I can count on less than one hand. There are people that talk this, and then there are real trailblazers. But now All you got to do is type in your search bar healing, and everybody got a healing word. But most people not doing the work. Trending, popular, in the algorithm, the in thing, what everybody likes. Love you. Set your alarm, okay? What everybody likes. Trendy. For many people, healing is just the next facade. It's the next fad. That's all. People not really serious about this work. And that's the raw truth about it, which leads me to raw truth number 4. This is where it's going to get touchy. Y'all not supporting the show. The truth is, for many people, healing is a means to an end and not the end. Come on, write this down. This is going to be a good self-check for some of you tonight. Healing is a means to an end and not the end. I'm going to explain that. For many people, healing is a means to an end and not the end. You know what that means? Many folks are on this journey to get something or get somebody. Oh my God. You're not healing to become the best version of yourself. You're healing because you want a man. Oh my God. You healing because you want a woman, because I'm equal opportunity. Oh my God. So one thing you'll never be able to accuse me of is being a panderer to women, because I don't care about y'all, and being a panderer to men, because I don't care about y'all either. All I care about is the truth. And a whole lot of people on the healing journey just so you can get a man, or get a woman, or get a job, or be in a relationship, or get something out of it. Not realizing that you don't heal for people, you heal because it's right. You know why? Because that very man you're trying to heal for, if he fall and die and get hit by a bus and die, what you gonna do? Oh my God. Fellas, the very woman you're trying to heal for, if she leave you and go be with somebody else, what you gonna do? Throw away your healing journey. Oh my God. And that's what many of y'all do. Many of y'all just in this to get something or to get somebody. Which means you're really not being truthful about this journey you claim to be on. Thank you, Sunkiss, for your support. Because they ain't supporting tonight. Oh, it's slow tonight, but my subscribers will eat this up and watch this over and over and over again. Some of y'all doing this to get people, to be with people. And I know this firsthand. I can't tell you the number of people who are dragged into sessions with me. And I ask them, I say, why are you here? And some people have the audacity to be honest enough and say, yeah, because, I want my wife. I'm here because I want my wife back. I'm here because I want my husband back. And they think it's so noble. He'll be like, I'm here because I want my wife back. And the wife will get teary-eyed and reach over and grab her hand. She think it's so sweet. And I just be sitting there looking. And I say stuff like, that's it? Yeah. Man, I love my wife, man. What, man, if it takes doing this, if it takes doing this to get my wife and my family back, I'm gonna do it. And she just really, like somebody silly, just really just gets choked up. Grabbing his hand. We got some ugly cry. And I slide my glasses down just like this. Because if you had to drag them here, if you had to drag her here, they're not doing the work to become the best version of themselves. They're doing this as a means to an end. And some of y'all, men and women, some of y'all with y'all ignorant self, you fall for it every time. Oh my God. Now let me get through 5 before I get some water. You fall for this stuff every time. And here's the reality is we heal to become the best version of ourselves for ourselves, even if we end up by ourselves. That bar was worth the salad. I'm going to say it again. We heal to become the best version of ourselves for ourselves, even if we end up by ourselves. I need everybody to write that down on their forehead right here. We heal to become the best version of ourselves for ourselves, even if we end up by ourselves. And if you can't say that, you ain't on a real healing journey. I don't care if you've been married for 100 years. If you can't say that you're doing this work for yourself to become the best version of yourself, even if you end up by yourself, you ain't got the right intentions. And after you type that, do me a favor, put in the chat in all caps, levels. Yeah, you need to send this to every family member and friend you got in therapy and counseling that's thinking they're doing the work. Send this one. We heal to become the best version of ourselves for ourselves, even if we end up by ourselves. And most of y'all ain't got the guts to be able to say that. You know why? Because you really don't mean it if you do. You're doing this work to get something, and you're doing this work to get somebody. Here's the fifth raw truth about modern day healing. And then we're going to keep going. I'm just in the introduction. Oh my God. The fifth truth about modern day healing is this: most people don't live what they desire. Oh my God. Most people not living what they desire. Man, woman, shawaman, whatever you are. Y'all notice I never get the pandering comment in my lives. Y'all notice that? I slap everybody. I don't care who you are. That's what's wrong in this space. We can't be honest with everybody. And the truth is, there are a lot of men and women claiming to be healed and their lifestyle on the line. Oh no, their lifestyle don't align. And if y'all don't believe this, just search on social media. All of these gurus and coaches and folks that have been found looking crazy because they were saying one thing and doing something else. Now, let me say this real clearly. It doesn't mean the healing journey doesn't mean you have to be perfect. But the healing journey, at minimum, should mean you're being intentional. You ain't got to be perfect, but you ought to be at minimum intentional, which means you might make a mistake. But at minimum, you ought to be intentional. And the truth about this healing talk in this healing journey is that most of these people that's walking around talking about they heal, they not. And how do I know this? Because when you get around people that really are healed, that have done this work for real, that have done real work, like journaling every single day for 3.5 years and not missing a day, including holidays. In that 3.5 year period, I had to go to the emergency room one time with chest pains. This is a true story. The 3.5 year period that I'm referring to, I had to go to the emergency room with chest pains. And when I got there, I took my journal with me in my book bag. They do the little x-ray, everything came out fine. But while I was waiting in the room, guess what I was doing on the bed? Journaling. I don't miss a day. I'm telling you the raw truth about this healing journey, that most people just ain't living what they desire. And if you've done any significant amount of work, you can get around a person who's talking, who ain't doing the work, and you can spot them a mile away. You can smell them. They got a stench on them. Fake healing got a stench. Real healing's got a stench. Fake work got a stench. Real healing's got a stench. Anybody can be anything online. Somebody interviewed me recently and said, Doc, what separates you from others? I said, anybody can be anything online. That's one of the big things in this space. But some of us, when you meet in person, it's the real deal. Let me share this with you because this is a good segue. Y'all with me? Are y'all supporting the show? I hope y'all support. This is a perfect segue. Let me segue here for a second. I want to share with you the greatest breakthrough of my healing work. Now that we got those 5, and there are many more, but those are the top 5 that I wanted to pull out. But let me talk a little bit about the greatest breakthrough. Thank you so much. I appreciate that camera, the mystical. Thank you for your support. I appreciate that. You absolutely have to make this every single day. It ain't for the weak. Your lip gloss don't determine how healed you are. Your shape don't determine how healed you are. Your physique, fellas, don't determine how healed you are. And this leads me to something that I want to shift to. You want to know what the greatest breakthrough of my healing work has been? The greatest breakthrough of my healing work has been this, that your mental healing supersedes all of your healing. I want you to put this in the chat. I'm going somewhere. Y'all see why I interrupted the series for this? It's going to get really good in a second. Your mental healing, put it in the chat, put it in your journal. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler. Your mental healing supersedes all of your healing. This is the greatest breakthrough of my healing work. Your mental healing supersedes all of your healing. Doc, can you say this in English so we clearly understand it? I will. Thank you for your support. I will. Let me put this real plain. If your mind never grasps what it means to be healed, your behavior will never change. I want to say this 5 times until y'all get it. If your mind never grasps what it means to be healed, your behavior will never change. Some of you, your behavior has never changed on this proclaim healing journey you're on because your mind ain't quite gripped what it means to heal. And this has been the greatest breakthrough of my work because most of you, especially from a religious standpoint, I'm going to get to this in a second, think that healing starts in your spirit, and it don't. It starts in your mind. Oh my God. It don't start in your spirit. It starts in your mind. Thank you, Marcy, for your support. Are y'all supporting this show? Are y'all going to want this one over? This might mess around and be, yes, baby. You okay? This might mess around and be the best live of the year. Mental healing don't start in your spirit. It starts in your mind. It starts in your mind. It doesn't start with what's going on the outside. It starts with what's going on the inside, which is why many of you don't have the discipline to say things like no, because you thought healing was a look. But when you realize that healing ain't a look, you can tell anything or anybody no. And I know in some of your feeble, weak, immature minds, you can't fathom the idea of being so healed that with that healing comes the discipline that what you claim to be on the inside starts to reflect on what you do on the outside. Because some of y'all ain't never seen nobody model this in front of you without being able to be superficial. Real healing is an inside out job. I want you to record that. Real healing is an inside out job. It don't start on the outside. It don't start with how you look, how you dress. It don't. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I have people that work in all kinds of occupations in this field, this work that I do. At nearly, I should hit the 1,200 mark in September in terms of clients. I have people from all kinds of backgrounds who dress all kinds of ways, come from all kinds of environments. And I have people that I work with that if you look at them, you would not think they are healed, but they are doing 10 times more work than the average person. Healing is not a look, it is a lifestyle. And until healing becomes a lifestyle for you, you will be as committed to that as you are to any other relationship and anything else in your life you ain't committed to. Oh my God. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this lifestyle in just a second. It's a whole lot of people that look healed. Take the silk. This is why, look, can be honest with you. This is why if Doc is on a date or goes on a date or would go out on a date or something, look, first of all, be multi-layered. But if we went multiple places, at first come just wear something comfortable. I don't want to evaluate you. Thank you, Caitlin, for the support. I don't want to evaluate you in no red bottoms and lip gloss. Let Instagram hit your likes for that. I don't care about that. I want to evaluate you at the purest version of you. Because money can dress up anything. Don't hit me with how we want to see things look. Money can make anything look good. But when healing is a lifestyle, you can have your hair pulled back, no makeup on, no lip gloss, have on leggings and a sweatshirt, and be bad to the bone. Oh my God. And I get it. Some of y'all ain't used to that. Some of y'all wouldn't know that if it slapped you in the face. You know why? Because it takes healed to recognize healed. I don't like to use names. Okay, but I'm going to use this name because of the respect that I have for her and her husband. I've never met them. Okay? I've never met them, not yet. I've never met them. But I have a tremendous amount of respect for Russell Wilson and Ciara. Now, let me say this. I'm not suggesting they've lived a perfect life. I don't know them. Okay? I'm not suggesting that, but hear what I'm saying. I saw a clip. Somebody shared a clip of me where she was talking on the Breakfast Club. And if I'm not mistaken, her hair was just pulled back. She had on just regular clothes, like maybe like a sweatshirt or something. Her energy was off the charts. And I'm not saying that in a way of fawning over somebody else's wife. I'm not on that type time. I'm saying that because she wasn't looking like a glam girl, and we know she can dress. She wasn't dressed to the gods. She was just in normal attire. And when you listen to her speak and you listen to her conversation and her spirit and energy, you could see a woman who has done some work. And some of you dudes, you look over women like that because they don't look like no IG model. And some of you ladies, unless he got Russell Wilson money, oh my God, you look over the Russell Wilsons because he's too square. Y'all don't want to have that conversation though. I'm with you. I'm with you, Velo. I'm not disagreeing with that, bro. You can tell she works out. She takes care of herself. Remember, I got 5 areas of healing: mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial. Yeah, she works out. But notice, when you're doing the work, you ain't got to do a lot. I need everybody to put that in the chat and in your journal. When you're doing the work, you ain't got to do a lot. If y'all were in my hometown and saw me at the grocery store, you would see me in leggings, hoochie daddy shorts, tennis shoes, and a t-shirt and a sweatshirt every day. And then I run into people. Oh my God, you're the therapist from Instagram. Oh my God, Doc, you look so relaxed. You're so awesome. I ain't got no suit on. Now I can put on a suit. Don't be deceived. I'm just around town. I'm just around town chilling. Because when you've done the work, the energy does the work for you. And here's the problem. Without change, I want you to record this. Without change, we end up with a form of healing, but no real transformation. Are y'all writing this down? Without real change, we end up with a form of healing, but no real transformation. Which means you look healed, you ain't really healed for real. Healing ain't a look, it's transformation. Something inside of you ought to shift that is so strong that it permeates on the outside of you. And until the shift inside of you is strong enough to influence what is outside of you, you have not experienced real transformation. That lady did not have to sit on that interview dressed to the gods. You know why? Because the work she's done inside of her was clear sitting at that table. Without change, you end up with a form of healing and no real transformation. And I'm telling you, a lot of these people in this street got a form of healing. They ain't got no real transformation. They know how to look here. They know all the language in the jar. Doc, I can recite your self-awareness definition. Doc, I can read it. It's a form of healing. It ain't no real transformation because real transformation shifts your behavior. Some of us don't even be trying. I'm just at the supermarket trying to get food for my kids, trying to get dinner for my kids. I ain't thinking about nobody. Trying to get dinner for my kids. But when you've gone through a real transformation, your spirit literally attracts and pulls things into you. Because your behavior on the outside and your appearance on the outside reflects what's inside of you. And people know it. So what do I mean by this? Y'all support the show. What I mean by this is simple. Your healing ultimately is always measured by your behavior. I want you to record this. Our healing ultimately is always measured by our behavior. I'm going to spend some time right here. Y'all good? Our healing ultimately is always measured by our behavior. Gigi, I'm not sure about that question. Feeling stuck in the physical aspect lately. Any way to address that? Not Gigi's one of my subscribers and clients. Feeling stuck in the physical aspect lately. Any way to address that? Not in vanity's sake, but in health. Stuck in what way? I would probably need more details on that to understand what you mean by being stuck in your health. Our behavior is ultimately measured by healing is ultimately measured by our behavior. Look, y'all, healing ain't a look. It's a lifestyle, and it is an adjustment to your behavior. And if your behavior hasn't changed post all of this healing work, you are not healed. You ain't close. You might not even be on the way. I'm going to just say this right now. Healing is a reflection of a lifestyle shift that shifts your behavior, that shifts how you act, how you talk. It shifts the environment, the things you allow around you. Look, you evaluate a tree by the fruit it produces. Let's have a next level conversation. Y'all come on up to C3C. Let's have a next level conversation. Let's have a seat 3C conversation. Let me tell y'all something. If you claim to be healed, we ought to look at your life as a tree and see some fruit. So when people say to me they healed, I don't look at their lip gloss. I don't look at how tall he is and how big his feet are. I don't look at whether or not they both go to the gym and they make money. I don't care about none of that. You know what I look at? Your fruit. What is attached to you that is a reflection that you as the tree has done the work? You know why? Because we evaluate a tree by the fruit it bears. And the last time I checked, bananas don't fall off apple trees. Pears don't fall off of orange trees. So how you gonna tell me you healed, but you ain't bearing no fruit? Or the fruit you bearing don't match the healing work you claim to do. I'm on a healing journey, but when somebody cuts you off in line in Walmart, you cuss them out. Oh, it's about to get rough right here. Told you I don't like nobody. I like the truth. You're on a healing journey. You're on a healing journey. But when somebody offends you, instead of you having the maturity to have a mature conversation with them, y'all still fighting and recording and screaming world star. You are not on no healing journey if you out here fighting in the street. I don't care if it's your mama. You are not on a healing journey fighting in the street like somebody crazy. And the problem in this space is that y'all, your behavior ain't reflecting the lifestyle you claim to be living. I'm on a healing journey, but you refuse to be conscious of your body physically. And I ain't just talking about going to the gym. I'm talking about the same discipline that it takes for you to go to the gym. It's the same discipline that it takes for your body not to be for the streets. Because you can't be healed and be a whore at the same time. I'm talking to men and women. You cannot be healed and be a whore at the same time. How? This is why I'm uncancelable. I get everybody. I get your mom if she was on here. I get everybody. You can't be healed and be loose with it at the same time. Or else you're an apple tree, but bananas are falling off. And if I'm being honest with you, this is normal. I have a confession to make. Y'all come up with me to C3C. Hey, everybody type in the chat in all capital letters, levels. Would you? Type in, and I like that. Samantha says this from Dallas. Everybody shouldn't have access to you either. You better believe that. Because let me tell you something about being in this healing journey. And God knows, don't be healed and have a little bit of success. When people think they got a little bit of access, then they start to lose respect for the level. And let me tell you something. When you've done this work, I would rather have respect than to give you access. You can keep that. When you do this work for real, you would rather keep your respect than to just give anybody access. No, earn this. And I'm talking to you fellas too. It ain't just you women that need to be earned. I know you traditional. I am too. But guess what? Some of y'all need to earn the access to the levels you want in men too. There's levels to this. Because just because you're a woman don't mean you get access. There are some men out here that's doing way more work than what you're doing. Oh my God. How quiet it is in the chat. Let me just be honest and make a confession here. You ready? Here's the confession. One thing that I hated about working in the church space, you guys know that my clientele consists of Christians, atheists, Buddhists, Muslims, blah, 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 blah. I've been called to heal the world, not just who you like. That's what I've been called to. I've been called to heal everybody, not just who y'all like, which is, what makes the Muslims and the Christians, it makes everybody mad. I don't care. All y'all can kick rocks. I've been called to heal the world. But one of the things that I hated about working in the church space? I loved it in general. But one of the things I really hated about working in the church space, it's going to shock you. You ready? Mean church people. Go ahead. Put that in the chat. You can put mosque if you go to a mosque. It's universal. Mean mosque people. Mean Buddhist people. Mean church people. I hated it. You know why? Because to me, mean church person is the biggest oxymoron that ever exists. How in the ham sandwich can you claim to be a believer of anything and you mean? How you claim to be on a healing journey and you mean? No, you're not. No, you not. No, you not. Doc, I'm just not a morning person. Well, that might be true too, but you ain't healed either. And it was what? I mean, you done worked all week, you go to the church house and you get there and you surrounded by all of these people that claim to be believers. Some on the inside, working on the outside. Oh, what a change in my life. And you speak to them and they roll their eyes at you. That nasty attitude. Ain't nothing nastier than an old mean usher. Not all of them. For all you people that's going to be absolute, thank you so much for your support. I'm not talking about all of them. Ain't none worse than no mean doorkeeper at a mosque. And you telling me you saved, right? Saved and mean. How? Saved it? How? That's like oil and water. Now, one of them ain't true. Your healing journey is the same way. I'm telling y'all right now, if you're doing this healing work and your attitude is still unbearable, you ain't doing enough work. If you're doing this healing work and it's hard for people to deal with you, you ain't doing enough work. Oh my God. If you're doing this healing work and people don't want to be around you, you ain't doing enough work. Oh my God. In fact, start over. What you claim to be and how you act ought to agree. In this healing space, what you claim to be and how you act ought to agree. But don't tell me you healed and you hard to work with. I have to have, look, I talked to my Chicago team, great team. They're going to do an awesome job, great show. And I had to confess to them last night. I had to take the fall on the sword because I feel like, over the last couple of months, I've been so busy that I have not had my hand in these stops as much as I need to. Let me tell you something. I told them straight up, and I'm going to tell y'all, if y'all ever come to a doc show and somebody at the door treats you like crap, you do realize that they won't get blamed. I will. Do y'all understand that? They won't get tagged on social media. I will. They won't get a review video on social media. I will. I had to remind the Dallas team last night, not because they did anything wrong. It was just setting expectation that when y'all are at a Dr. Zeb self-awareness tour event and you welcoming people in, guess what? You are the representative of a healing brand. And how in the ham sandwich with extra nasty mayo are you going to be working at a healing event and you got a nasty attitude? Here you are at the tour, ready to get empowered, and the person at the door giving you a stank attitude. How in the heck are you going to receive a healing message after that? So I told him last night, I said, look, look, this is the expectation. Because at the end of the day, when people show up, they expect y'all to treat them the way Doc does. Hug every neck, smile if you're hungry and tired. It don't matter. You may have had a bad day. Don't matter. What you act like ought to reflect what's inside of you. Rochelle, you know how mayonnaise got in this. I hate mayonnaise. Good to see you, friend. I'm so proud of you, and I owe you a review. I have not forgotten, I promise. Is this making sense? This happens at churches. It happens at temples. It happens at mosques, and it's so weird to me. Y'all supporting this show? It is so weird to me. I can't stand it. I can't stand people to claim that they saved and they mean as fire. You a bald-faced lie. You saved, all right. You a bald-faced lie. I'm delivered with a T. You a bald-faced lie. No, you're not. Not if your attitude is stink as it is. No, you not. Go back and do that again. And healing works the same way. Healing ought to teach you how to treat people. Healing ought to teach you how to honor your word. Healing ought to teach you how to say one thing and do the same thing you said. Healing ought to teach you how to respond properly when you've been offended. Healing ought to teach you how to handle offense in a classy way. Hear how quiet these comments are? But you on a healing journey, right? No, you're not. You ain't on no healing journey. Make sure this thing is on. Healing ought to stop you from lying to people. Healing ought to stop you from lying to people. Healing ought to stop you from being a walking contradiction. Healing ought to create some discipline in your actions between what you say and what you do. Yeah, a whole bunch of crickets. Ain't nobody saying nothing. I don't blame y'all. Y'all support this show so you can see this one again. Some of y'all need to send this to some of these raggedy friends and partners you got that claim to be doing the work because they see a therapist once every 6 months and they ain't doing no work. There ought to be some change. And if the change ain't coming, they ain't doing no work. You can tell your daddy I said it. Oh my God. Thank you, Mr. Marcy. I appreciate you. It should not only change how you act, it should change how you handle people. How you handle people. And let me say this to y'all. What is so frustrating in this space is to get in front of people who claim to have been in therapy for years, who claim to have done all of this work. But when they get in front of me, they are talking about all of this stuff that they have done to people, that they want to do to people, revenge that they want to get on people, how they want to get back at people. You have not done enough work. Your therapist has fooled you for long enough. You have not done enough work. And not only have you not done enough work, we're going to know how healed you are by how you handle people who can't help you. Let's talk about this for a second. Uh-oh. I told the team last night, we were talking, I said, listen, I know you guys are going to show up for me. People have been so kind. I have tremendous site coordinators for all of the stops. They've done a wonderful job. People are so kind to me. They show up at the tour stops. They're excited to see me. They're so kind to me, and the volunteers are so kind to me. That's great. But I told them, I said, you know what? You know what does my heart well? When y'all treat them right. You know why? Because one true sign of healing and really what's on the outside of you matching what's on the inside of you is how you handle other people. Come here, believers. Let me give you a 3-minute Bible lesson. Non-believers, atheists, I know I got you on the call. Bear with me and catch the revelation. Come here. Jesus said something powerful. He said, guess what? If you love me, feed my sheep. Let me explain what he meant. When Jesus told the disciples, if you love me, feed my sheep, this was not about being a disciple in title. What he was saying to them was, I don't care about your title. If you claim to be what you claim you are, act like it. Watch this. If Doc claims to be the guy that talks about healing, if Doc does all of this boasting, saying I'm the best in the business, and I believe I am, you better believe it. If Doc does all of this boasting, saying he's the best in the business and he's doing this work, how would y'all feel if I came to your city and I'm tired and I'm worn out and here you are, you have been waiting in line to see me, and I say, I don't want to see you, and I turn around and walk off? Tell me what you're going to think about Doc. I'm going to tell you what you're going to think. Doc be saying one thing, but he really about something else. But if you ever been to these tours, when Doc's got to get up on Saturday morning at 7 in the morning, do photo shoots from about 9:30 to about 12, get like a 20-minute break, talk to VIPs for about an hour, get about a 15-minute break, do a 90-minute talk, and then have a line of people that lasts about an hour and hug every neck and sign every book and don't complain one time. You know why? Because I was taught a valuable lesson by my parents. We can know what's inside of you by how you treat people who can't do nothing for you. We know what's in you by how you handle people that can't do nothing for you. And the truth is, a lot of you that come to my show, you want to get on my books. You want to be a client. You benefit from my work. Ain't much you can do for me. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. Just follow the revelation. But I show kindness because that's what healing challenges us to do. True story. When I was working at North Carolina A&T, was a career counselor there. Got my first counseling job, came right out of industry. Mrs. Joyce Edwards, shout out to Miss Joyce Edwards. Executive Director, Miss Cynthia Downing, Pamela Bashir. These ladies gave me a chance. Came out of industry. I was only like 23 years old. So I was like 3 years older than the seniors, 2 years older than the seniors there at A&T. And they gave me my first shot as a career counselor, and it really just catapulted my career. But there was a lady that was a janitor on the second floor. Thank you so much, Z. Appreciate your support. There was a lady on the second floor that was a janitor, and she absolutely always made sure my office space was always tidy and neat. I was upstairs at the time by myself, me and my boss Cynthia Down, and she always made sure our areas were clean. We would be there all times of nights because we worked long hours managing events, doing student workshops, all kinds of things. And she always made sure I had everything that I needed. I was one of the few males on the floor, so not a lot of men use the bathroom in the hallway on the second floor. So she made sure that we had everything that we had in there. And she was so nice. And that lady didn't even finish high school. That lady used to walk around with candy. She used to pass out candy. She didn't have a high school degree. We would have events, the chancellor would come over, different leaders would come over. And when these events were there and food was there, I used to grab that lady and say, come in here and get you a plate. I ain't making this up. Ask about me. Thank you for your support. I used to come in here and get a plate. You know why? She ain't had no suit on. She had on her janitor garb. She had no degree. She didn't have nothing to offer to the meeting. She was way underdressed than everybody else in there. But you know what? Her role on that floor was just as important as the chancellor. And I know some of y'all don't believe in this because some of y'all are only nice to people who can help you. That's why I told the team last night. I said, listen, in these tour stops, you know what's more important to me? Not how nice y'all are to me. People are going to be nice to me. They think I can do something for them. People are going to be nice to me. Be nice to the people that walk in here that don't look like they healed. Thanks, Brother Reggie. I appreciate you. Are y'all listening to me? This stuff should change something about how you deal with. Jesus said, if you love me, feed my sheep. He told the disciples to do this because he understood something. How you serve and live with others says the most about your healing journey. I want you to record that. How you serve and live with others says the most about your healing journey. Miss Rochelle's on this line. She's into, she started her own management firm. I'm so excited about her. Kudos to you, Miss Rochelle. Did some awesome work with her at WSSU. There's the comment on the screen. I had to make this up. From day one. When I was unknown and known, never changed. Treated everybody like they was something. Let me tell you something. How you serve and live with others says the most about your healing journey. You can say you healed all day, but if people don't want to be around you, and I'm not just talking about important people, I'm talking about the people that ain't got nothing to give you. If people don't want to be around you, do some more work. Because how you going to be healed, but don't nobody want you to come to the cookout? Y'all know how many fish fries I get invited to on a weekly basis? From people I just met? Doc, catch a flight. We'll take care of you. If don't nobody want you to come to the cookout, you need to do some more work. And I hate to bring this to y'all, but some of y'all been on a healing journey for a long time and don't nobody want you to come to the cookout. And I'm telling you, if you've been on a healing journey 5, 6, 7, 8 years and don't nobody want you to come to the cookout, it's a problem. Y'all mad at Doc, ain't you? Y'all ain't supporting this show tonight. I know y'all ain't supporting this, are you? Doc, why are you going so hard on us? Because I'm tired of the foolishness in this space. Because those of us that are really sincere and genuine about this work, you can say a lot about Doc, but one of the things you got to add to that list is that Doc is serious about this work. This is my life's work. And those of us that are serious about this work, I'm here to tell you, it is an insult for y'all to be walking around being nice to everybody but the people that can't do something for you. I had Miss Tiffany. She's on the line because I saw her doing notes. Shout out to her. She led the Charlotte tour stop. And I know I had Miss Tiffany and the team. Boy, Doc is in here a renegade. You know why? Because we're on a time frame. But let me tell you something. When people want to talk or hug my neck, I'm going to do it. Part of being healed is how you serve people and how you live with people. And I'm telling you, instead of us asking you if you healed, guess who we ought to ask? We ought to ask the people you in a relationship with. Watch this. Let me put you single folks on some more game. You meet somebody, some of y'all that's single, you meet somebody, you really interested in them, and you want to know if they're healed. Yeah, man, I'm healed. Yeah, girl, I'm healed. This is what you need to do. You need to talk to one of their friends. Talk to their parents. Talk to the people they live with. Talk to their cousins and ask them how healed they are. Because when you really healed, who you live with and who you serve ought to testify to it. True story. I won Advisor of the Year 2 times in a row at T. And my good friend Shauna, she's married now. Shout out to you, Shauna. I hope you're doing well if you tune in. They changed the rules because I would have been winning that thing every year I was there. You know why? Because I taught my student leaders how to lead by serving. That if you want to be a good leader and you really healed, it's going to reflect in how you serve everybody. Not just the people you like, not just the people in your clique. And let me tell you something. This healed community is becoming as cliquish as Christian communities. I said it. Oh, we healed. We don't talk to nobody but healed people. If you ain't healed, you can't, the mean girl crap. If you ain't healed, you can't talk to us. You can't be around us. Garbage. Absolutely garbage. Absolute positive garbage. I mean, you got enough clicks on your job. You got enough clicks in your family. Why would you want to be on a healing journey that's cliquish too? So Jesus made it plain. He said, you love me, feed my sheep. If you love me, serve other people. And serve especially the ones that can't do nothing for you. So that's why Doc, when he goes from city to city, he is exhausted by the time he gets to his room. Exhausted. Because I have literally given everything I have to everybody I've encountered. So that nobody can leave and say that Doc claims to be healed, but his behavior don't match up with it. I'm telling y'all, if being kind is work to you, you need to evaluate your healing journey. It shouldn't be hard to be kind when you're on a healing journey. It should not be hard to be thoughtful if you're on a healing journey. It should not be hard to be considerate if you're on a healing journey. It shouldn't even be hard to do little stuff like say excuse me, when you're on a healing journey? Uh-oh, let me make sure the mic on for this, because this one gonna bust some of y'all all in the face down to the white meat. You ready? It shouldn't be hard to apologize when you're on a healing journey. Some of y'all claim to be on a healing journey and you ain't apologized since 1962. Elvis was alive. Some of you ain't apologized since 1962 and you walk around talking about some you healed. No, when you healed, it ought to be easy to say, I'm sorry. It ought to be easy to say, pardon me. And if you don't know what an apology is, you ain't healed. How about that? Let me just make life easy for you. If the idea of apologizing even just drives your anxiety up, you ain't healed. How about it? Let's just make this easy. This is how I know some of y'all ain't doing real work. Keep seeing your little raggedy counselors and therapists and coaches who don't push you to do real work and wasting your money. Some of y'all ain't been challenged in this space a day in your life. And it shows. You know how many people quit? I was sharing with a friend, you know how many people actually quit, sign up to do work with me, and they realize it's too hard? They quit. 1 or 2 sessions, maybe 3. I can't, doc, I can't do this. Or they tell their partner, and then I never see them again. Or they just stop showing altogether. You know why? Because it's hard work. If it was easy, everybody would be healed. People quit on Doc all the time. Let me tell you what Doc ain't gonna do. Doc not gonna let you walk around and say you healed, and you not. You know why? Because healing ought to change you. Let me tell you something else that ought to change. You ready? Healing should change your appetite. I'm about to get in trouble right here. Put this in all capital letters in the journal and in the notes. Healing should change your appetite. Healing should change your appetite. I discovered this, that when you heal for real, the stuff you got a taste for changes. And I mean that in every way imaginable, literally and figuratively. I put up a post Sunday that a lot of y'all didn't like, that I actually posted on my story when I was talking about Paul Pierce, who was telling men to go marry 5s and 6s. I took what he said, because in theory he's right, and I expanded it to be equal opportunity, because I am. That goes for men and women. Some of you women need to stop chasing dudes that's 9s and 10s and go find you a strong 5 or 6 that's healed in those 5 areas. A little bit of money and dress them up. Fellas, find you a 5 or 6 that might not be a showstopper when she walk in the room. She might have a bad limp or something. I don't know. But she checks those 5 areas of healing. She's sweet. She's an easy woman to communicate with. She has good standards, and she makes a great mom and wife. And I get it. This sounds like a foreign language to many of you. You know why? Because some of you, I know you ain't healed because you still desire, from an appetite standpoint, stuff that's just aesthetically pleasing. Beauty fades. Physique fades. Money, believe it or not, fades. Healing, wisdom, integrity, character, good communication skills, that stuff lasts through the test of time. I knew I was healed when it took more than a shape to turn me on. Ladies, you gonna know you healed when it takes more than his wallet to turn you on. I knew I was healed when if all she could do for me is show me how she could drop it and I wasn't impressed. I knew I had been doing the real work. Healing ought to change your appetite. Not only should healing change your appetite, watch this. Healing changes what people find appealing about you. I want you to put that in the chat and in the notes. Healing changes what people find appealing about us. Does. Then that's the shallow people that ain't doing the work. You don't want them anyway. I'm just trying to help some of y'all. You don't want them anyway. But when you do the work, what people find attractive about you will shift. And then watch this. The stuff that they find attractive about you that is non-physical makes the physical look better. Here's the truth. Here's the truth. You can be a 5 or a 6 and be healed. But when you're healed and a 5 and a 6, and you really walking in strong mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and financial healing, and you got your act together, you got discipline, commitment, consistency, you are bearing fruit of healing, all of a sudden people that look at you with just 5 and 6 looks, they'll start seeing you like you were 8, 9, or 10. You really not. Doc, look, that's what Doc looked like in 9th grade. Doc ain't no 8, 9, or 10. I'm telling y'all right now, Doc's not an 8, 9, or a 10. But his healing and wisdom are 40. A 40. And you know what that does? That takes me on that 5 and 6, a 4 level, and just slides me up the bar. And that ain't appealing if you ain't healing. That was a bar. That ain't appealing if you ain't healing. I get it. And that's how I know some of you ain't healed. Because some of y'all still looking at, oh, he's an 8, child. Yeah, he's nice, girl, but he's just like a 7. He's just a 6. Girl, you know, girl, you know how silly y'all be talking. Some of you women be talking. Girl, I mean, he nice, girl, but he just a 6. Meanwhile, that 6, check all them healing, all them wisdom boxes. He checks all the 5 areas of healing. He lives a disciplined, committed life. Let me tell you something. A couple of dollars in TJ Maxx can fix up anybody. Oh my God. It ain't even got to be top tier. A couple of dollars in TJ Maxx can work wonders on some folks. A couple of dollars and TJ Maxx can work wonders on some people. But no, y'all out here looking for 8s, 9s, and 10s. And I put it in the post and I meant what I said. 5s and 6s that are men and women are getting married by the busloads. 5s and 6s, look on your Instagram feed. Y'all don't believe me? Just look. Look on your Instagram and your TikTok feed. 5s and 6s, some 7s, getting married by the busloads. The way y'all evaluate them, that is, married by the busloads. But watch this. 8s, 9s, and 10s, they single by the bus. There are football fields full of 8, 9s, and 10s. They're single. Wonder why. I wonder why all the 8s, 9s, and 10s are single, men and women. Oh, it's so quiet. Men and women, 8, 9, and 10s, single as a dollar bill. You meet him and be like, you really? Yeah, yeah, dog. Yeah, sis. Yeah, bro. Really? I tell you why. Because their appetites ain't changed. Shallow is looking for shallow. Shallow 9s and 10s are looking for shallow 9s and 10s. Let me put y'all on game. If you are a 9 and 10 in appearance, get your healing up to a 9 and 10 and find you somebody that's on your 9 and 10 level that is healed also, but if not, get you a 5 or 6 that is healed. Take them to Ross and TJ Maxx. You with your 9, 10 self, get you a 5 or 6 and take you some money. Go to Ross, TJ Maxx, and take their healed 5 and 6 self to Ross and TJ Maxx. Take them to the dentist if you got to. Take them wherever you got to take them. Because all of that aesthetic stuff you looking at, we can buy that. From clothes to hair to BBLs, you can buy it all. From clothes to hair to BBLs, you can buy it all. But let me tell you what you can't buy. You can't buy healing. You can't buy healing. You can't buy discipline. You can't buy commitment. You can't buy self-awareness. You can't buy work ethic either. But all the other stuff y'all looking at that y'all are using to label people as 8, 9s, and 10s, Ross, TJ Maxx, TJ Maxx, Ross. What's the guy name in I think in Latin America, Dr. What's his name? Dr. Miami? Money. All you need is a couple dollars. Ross, TJ Maxx, Dr. Miami. You good. Take that 5 and 6 and take them to Ross, TJ Maxx, or Mr. Miami. I'm talking to men and women. It's just, I'm just, y'all not, let me wrap this up. Let me wrap this up because y'all tired of my mouth and some of y'all pissed. I don't care. I don't care. Your fruit, doing this work should produce fruit and should change your appetite. Let me tell you some things that healing looks like, and I'm done. Y'all supporting the show? Put the ways up to support the show. I like that, Kim. Kim got an even better example. Thrift store. When I was younger, I used to shop at the thrift store all the time. You go to the thrift store, especially nice ones, high-end ones, where fellas, the guys, the men are dropping off Brooks Brothers suits. I got my first Brooks Brothers suit from the thrift store because I couldn't afford one. I went right over there, got it dry clean, got that thing altered and tailored for my body. I couldn't afford Brooks Brothers at that time. And y'all think you got to have an 8, 9, and 10? A superficial 8, 9, and 10 that ain't done no work? Leave him and her where they are. Take my word for it. Unless they are doing the work or want to do the work, take my word for it. You are asking for heartache unless they want to do the work. No, Doc ain't hurt. Doc can have what he wants. You can take that whatever way you want to. Doc not hurt. I'm just telling you, don't waste time with 8s, 9s, and 10s who ain't doing the work. They just eye candy. They have no substance. You can't communicate. You will never solve problems. Your relationship will be superficial, period. Lead them where they at. Go get you a 5 or 6. Go to Ross, TJ Maxx, or Dr. Miami and call it a day. Let me tell you what healing looks like. Let me give you some things that healing looks like. You ready? Go on and make your list. Real quick. Give me 5 minutes and I'm done. Hey, y'all got tickets to Dallas yet? Let me mention this real quick before I give you this list. We wrap up. Dallas coming up September the 13th. Gonna be a nice show. Looking forward to it. Make sure you get that. Tickets are actually moving pretty good. I looked at the numbers today. LA coming up October the 4th. I'm so excited to be in LA. It's gonna be great. Got a little surprise up my sleeves for the LA stop. We should be launching the New Orleans stop. If not by this weekend, early next week. We've got a location solidified for New Orleans. We're going to be coming to New Orleans in November, and it's going to be incredible. And then we're going to be wrapping it up in Atlanta, December the 13th. And I want to see everybody and their mamas. This is going to be your early Christmas gift. You book that weekend and come, because I'm closing the tour for 2025 in where it started in Atlanta, and it's going to be great. I'm excited. I'm going to have a new script because many of y'all are going to be coming from other cities. You've heard it in other cities. So I'm going to have all of that ready, but it's going to be powerful. Okay? Let me give you some things that healing looks like. See, Lynn said, I choose Dr. Jim for 300. You are crazy. I love it. Let me give you some things that healing looks like. You ready? I'm going to give you a couple of things that healing looks like. And this isn't an exhaustive list, but let me give you just a few things. Number one, healing looks like self-control. Doc, how do I know I'm healed? How do I know they healed? How much self-control do they have? How much self-control do they have? How much self-control do you have? If you ain't got a lot of self-control, I question your healing journey. And self-control manifests itself in a lot of different ways. Not just your temper, but your ability to not do things you're supposed to do. Not consume things you're supposed to consume. Not go off when you want to go off. Y'all went to a restaurant where the cook intentionally put some hair in my son's stromboli. Several thick strands. I'm talking 4 or 5 thick strands in his small stromboli. When we opened it up, it was there. We were the only people in the restaurant. The cook that brought it out to us had never delivered our food to us every time we've come here. It's a local place, a locally owned place. This guy's never come from the back to bring us food. He brings it out. I ask him whose stromboli is which, because I had one and my son had one. He just shrugged and said, Should have known something was up. My son opens his stromboli and thinks he sees something. I take his stromboli, open it up, and there are about 5 or 6 thick strands of hair. I'm talking this thick, maybe that long. Thick strands, like somebody cut some off somebody's hair and placed it in there. I got the plate. I took my shades off. I leaned back in the chair. I looked at my son and my daughter, who were looking at me, and said it to myself, it is probably not a good idea for me to end up in the front page of the newspaper. You ask them. Ask my kids. It's probably not a good idea for me to end up on the front page of the newspaper. It's probably not a good idea for me to do something to put my kids' livelihood being raised in jeopardy. I took a deep breath, grabbed the plate, got up, walked up to the counter. The guy that took our order, I think he's like the manager of the place, was on the phone. I did like this. He came over there, I put the plate on the counter, turned it around, and opened it up. He looked like this. Took the plate, said, oh, we're going to make you another one. We're going to make you another. And he goes right to the back. I sat down. My kids are looking at me. I put my hand over my eyes like this just to gather myself. I paused. I said, okay, guys, I told you, I said, eat your food. Son will take what they bring back. Let's look at it. They make another one. When they made the second one, he opens it. It looks fine. He bit it. We were talking and laughing. Next thing I know, I look over on my son at my son's plate, and I see a mountain of cheese that looked partially cooked, almost as if he had spit it out. If you've ever baked cheese and made a pizza, you know that cheese goes through a transformation. It kind of looks still stringy as it's melting. It was still stringy, but somewhat melted, lightly melted. And he had put it on his plate, and I thought he spit it out. I said, son, I wasn't even paying attention. We were laughing, and he didn't say anything. So I had to fuss at him about that. I said, son, what's up with your cheese? I said, did you spit that out? He said, no, sir. I said, how did it get there? He said, Daddy, I just pulled it out, man. It looked weird. A clump of cheese, uncooked. I took everybody's plate, put it in the middle, grabbed that plate, took a deep breath, got up, walked up to the counter, put the plate on the counter, opened the stromboli again, pointed to the cheese on the side, and said, bro, cash us out. I turned around. I told them, I said, get your things and sit here. Grabbed my wallet, walked back up to the counter. Now, what would have been the right thing to do? Considering we used to eat at this restaurant all the time, what would have been the right thing to do? The whole meal should have been free. You know what he did? He only took off my son's food. Didn't take off mine, didn't take off my daughter's. He only took off my son's food. I paid for it. I tipped him 15%. He apologized. Oh my God, I cannot believe this. I am so sorry. I didn't say a word. I walked over to the table, told my kids to get up, let's go. As I am walking out, he storms in the back. The cook is right there, and he's in his face screaming at him. You cannot convince me that this man did not mean to put hair in my son's food to choke him. And even with my kids being in harm's way, I had self-control. Because most of y'all would be in prison right now. And guess what? No judgment. I understand. You want to know if somebody healed for real? Measure their self-control. Oh, we not going back. Oh, but best believe I got a message for the owner. You want to measure if people are healed? If you want to measure what healing looks like? Number one, self-control. How well can you control yourself? Huh? Some of us don't just teach this, we live it. Kids were so upset. We were walking out. My daughter looks at me and says, Daddy, I know you are. Daddy, I can look at you and tell you're really upset. I said, yeah, baby. And my son said, you kept yourself under control, Dad. You can't afford to make any mistakes. He's right. Not about to jeopardize my kid's future over some idiot. That takes self-control, y'all. You can mess with anybody. You can mess with me. Don't bother my kids. And I tipped this fool. So healing looks like self-control. Let me tell you something else that healing looks like. You ready? Stability. You see, and I get it. Some of y'all don't like that. He said, oh, he weak. I knew he was a simp. That's for all of y'all that didn't serve time, or for you crazy women that like dudes that serve it. Knock yourself out. Doc too pretty to go to jail, number one. And number two, he got 2 kids he raising full time. So y'all can have the hard stuff. I'd rather just be pretty and rich. Healing looks like stability, y'all. Healing looks like stability. It ain't about you having a lot of money. It ain't a lot about you having everything it's about you being stable mentally. Yeah, you might have some days where your thoughts are rough, but your thoughts aren't always really, really bad or really, really, really down and out. You can ride the middle. Yeah, you might have some days where your emotions feel off, but you ain't always down in the dumps and you ain't always on cloud 9. You stable, you in the middle. You can measure your healing by how stable you are. How stable is your nervous system? How able are you to stabilize your thoughts and your emotions? How stable are you in your spiritual walk? How stable are you when it comes to your physical well-being and how you take care of your body and everything associated with your body? How stable are you financially? Being financially healed ain't about being rich. It's about being financially stable. Are you taking care of your business? Do you prioritize things as you should? See, this is how I know some of you women ain't healed, because you still looking for a baller in 2025. Let me tell you something. You better get a man that's financially stable, because there's a difference. There's a whole lot of ballers that can't manage money that will be broke soon. There's a whole lot of guys making a little bit of money, but they stable and got a good financial mindset, and that little bit of money gonna last a long time. And this is how I know some of you knucklehead women ain't healed, because you're still looking at the wrong stuff. Oh my God. Let me tell you something else healing looks like. Healing looks like the ability to accept feedback. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. I'm going to just end with this one. Healing looks like the ability to accept feedback. Some of y'all hate feedback. That's why some of y'all hate my content. I just look at the comments sometimes and I just shake my head sometimes, because I'm just like, it's clear that some of y'all have never grown up in a culture where you had to get feedback. Some of y'all have never been told. Some of y'all have only been told how wonderful you are when you weren't even wonderful in the first place. And all you've ever been told is how wonderful you are. And then you meet somebody like me who can acknowledge your good stuff, but don't have a problem telling you where all the issues are. And you think it's harsh. You think it's cruel and mean. No. You're going to know you're healed when you can take feedback. You're going to know you're healed when you can take feedback. I got a 4th one, and I'm going to let y'all go, because it connects with this one really well. You can't take feedback. You don't want to hear feedback. You got some more work to do on your healing journey. Well, Doc, what if the feedback ain't true? It may not be true. It may not be right, but can you take it? Do you have the discipline and the self-control to engage with someone who is giving you feedback that ain't even correct? Some of y'all don't. You become, what you not gonna do is there. What you not gonna do, what you not gonna do. God help me, please. Anytime you got to walk on pins and needles around people because you can't tell them the truth without them getting upset, there is nothing more draining than to have to be around a person that you can't say nothing to because they don't like feedback. They don't, even the true feedback, they don't want to hear it. Even the true feedback, they don't want to hear it at all. And you talking about a drag, being around people like that? Mm-mm. Now, if I gotta walk on eggshells just to be around you, I'm gonna leave. That's a good question. Really good question on TikTok. What does it mean when a woman is always trying to correct at everything you say as a man? That's a really good conversation. And I think it depends, Ahmad, I hope I'm saying that right. I think it depends on a number of things. I think it depends on a number of things. Primarily, it's going to depend on that woman. Because the reality is, even if I, as a man, let me use me as a man to answer your question. Even if I, as a man, can see something wrong with everything that a person does, there is a level that you reach where if you feel like you got to correct everything that a person does and you're connected to them, why be connected to them in the first place? I'm not going to be connected to anybody that I got to correct every single thing they do. So if you are connected to a woman that is correcting everything you say, and you can't say nothing right around her without her saying something, you got the wrong woman. And I want to explain it that way. Because even if you are wrong every time, she's crazy to stay with somebody that she got to correct 24/7. Fellas, you crazy to stay with a woman you got to correct 24/7. Does this make sense? Yeah, you got it, brother. No, I appreciate that. Appreciate the question for real. Right? So, y'all, let's not get into that, right? Can they accept feedback? Last one I want you to think about. When we talk about what healing looks like, it's a good one. Are they easily offended? This is what I know about being healed. When you healed, you ain't easily offended. You have what I call reduced sensitivity. You have what I call reduced sensitivity. You are not easily offended when you are healed. I've had, look, y'all, this is God's honest truth. I had clients say stuff. I've had clients, get upset because they didn't like something I said, and they say, Doc, I just want to share with you, I just really didn't like what you said when you said this or whatever. And I don't mean no harm, but I just want to tell you. And I'd be like, oh, it's no offense taken at all. I'm glad you're expressing yourself. Thank you, Angelica, for your support. And they almost kind of look shocked, like, really? No. Doc, I thought you were a little mean when you were telling me about my trauma and really telling me I had to be responsible for something, that I didn't decide to change. And I thought that was very mean of you. Okay, I appreciate your feedback. And I'm telling you this, and I don't want you to be offended. I'm not trying to be offensive. I didn't take it that way. I and it don't be with sarcasm, y'all. It's a straight face. No, I didn't take it that way. I didn't. I appreciate the feedback. But in this space, we operate in self-awareness. So it's all good. So do know if anything needs to be said in these sessions that involve self-awareness, i.e., honesty about who you are, where you are, and what you're doing, you're going to hear it. But I appreciate the feedback. I do. It really means a lot to me. That stuff, when you are healed, you ain't easily offended. You don't wear your feelings on your sleeves. Some of y'all, this is going to be the litmus test, right? This is why before you turn your life and put your life in the hands of somebody you even claim to like, don't you do it until you offend them. You know why? Because you need to see how they respond when they get offended. How sensitive are they? Are they hypersensitive? Are they hypersensitive? Do they get worked up over every little thing? Pouty mouth over every, I'm talking to men and women. Because it ain't just men that's doing, women do this too. And some of you women think you get a pass to do it because you're a woman. You get a pass to be emotional. The devil is a bald-headed liar. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you get a pass on not being able to control your emotions. You can be emotional without losing emotional control. Let me say it slow. You can be emotional without losing emotional control. Nothing wrong with an emotional woman. I've said this before on lives. I think it ain't nothing finer than a woman that cries. Woo! I'm talking about she cry. I ain't talking about she crying being extra. I'm talking about she watching a movie and she gets touched because of the movie. And you look at her and she got tears. Woo! If she got some extra lip gloss on her lips, woo! Just does something to die. That just screams softness. My mama with her pretty sweet soft self will watch a movie, or I look at the tour, I'm at the tour stop in Charlotte and I'm talking and I look up and my mama is back there tearing up crying. And I had to look off. You know why? Because that's tender. That's soft. Ain't nothing prettier than a soft woman who's in tune with her emotions. I'm not talking about women that ain't got no emotional control. Some of y'all like old girl from Friday. What's her name? Craig's girlfriend. What's her name? Not Felicia. That's the crackhead. What was Craig's girlfriend's name in Friday? That's how some of you women act. And some of you men like it too. What's her name? Oh, come on. Don't act like Joy. Was it Joy? Joy in Friday. That's how some of you women act. And some of these knucklehead men think that's cute. Ain't nothing cute about that. You ain't got no emotion. You won't be banging my windows out. Oh my God. You won't be storming up at my house like somebody crazy. Ain't nothing cute about that. I'm talking about being emotional without losing emotional control. Lakira said, great day. Good to see you, Lakira. Thank you so much for supporting Charlotte. It was a pleasure. We didn't really even get a chance to meet. I appreciate you. Ain't nothing cute about that. I'm talking about a woman that can be soft and just get, oh, she's in a moment and just cries. Oh my God, that just does something. I just reach over there and I just want to grab and wipe her face off with my hands and then put my hand around her neck and pray for her. Are y'all listening to me? I'm talking about emotional control. Not this crazy toxic stuff y'all like. Are y'all listening to me? Not easily offended, y'all. Reduced sensitivity is almost always a sign of healing and growth. Okay? Y'all, was this helpful? Huh? Yeah, I don't look, don't y'all not gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Don't no healed man want no emotionless woman. Y'all can keep your hard self and your hard feet, because if your emotions hard, your feet probably hard too. Oh my God. So you can take your hard emotions and your hard feet, and you can take them somewhere else. Don't no healed man want no hard woman, no hard emotional woman. I can't speak for no other men but me and other healed men. I don't want no emotionless woman that's too hard. I'm a thug. I don't cry. I don't show them. Well, go take your hard feet with your hard heart and go over there. Joy, go find Craig. Oh my God. don't no man want that. And don't no healed woman, watch this, want a man who is afraid to express his emotions. Oh, where the crickets at? I don't hear the guys now. The guy's silent now. No, don't know healed woman want a man that always feel like he got to be a monster, cussing everybody out, looking crazy, emotionless. Don't no healed woman want that. Now, some of you toxic women do, because you like a thug. You like a thug until a thug and all these thugs have used you up, and then you want a healed guy, but we don't want you, because we don't want you after the fact. The only person that'll take you after the fact is Jesus. Oh, y'all quiet now. The only person, man or woman, that wants you after the fact, Jesus. Jesus, the only one that wants you after the fact. And some of you went, you love a thug. Knock yourself out. But healed women want a guy that's got some emotional control, but he don't mind expressing himself and expressing himself emotionally. Let me tell you something. You a healed man. If you as a healed man ever get touched and cry in front of a woman, you're going to have a good time that night. Oh my God. I'm going to say it slow. If you as a healed man ever get touched by a moment and you have emotional control and that moment stirs a tear out of you and you're next to a healed woman, you're not going to make it home. Oh my God. You don't believe me? Look at the comments. I know what I'm talking about. She going to be like, go ahead and cry, Dada. Go ahead and cry, Dada. Dada. Is that how y'all say it? D-A-D-A. Go ahead and cry, Dada. I see you, Dada. Dada, let's hurry up and get out of here. Ladies, if I'm telling the truth, I want you to type levels in the chat. I'm trying to put these men on game. They ain't listening. Go ahead and cry, Dada. Y'all don't want Tally After Dark. I'm going to do a live one night about 1 in the morning on the East Coast. You have to stay up for it. We'll talk about some provocative stuff. Y'all not ready for that. I'm going to have to probably put that in the subscriber space on. Y'all not ready for that. I'm not making this up. Y'all, was this helpful? I'm just telling you. As a man who, I'm just take my word for it. Okay? That right there will pull something out of her that you didn't even know was in there. Okay? All right. Appreciate y'all. Get tickets to all the stops. I'm done. Support the show. You see the ways to support the show on the screen. If we have enough people support the show, it will be up. If not, subscribers, check your inbox. We will send it to you, and that will be that. I'll see you all next Thursday. Check out the content this weekend. Subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't already. I've got fresh content coming out on YouTube this weekend, and it's going to be great, and I can't wait to share it with you. All right? Peace and blessings. Y'all have a good night. Y'all crazy. Bye.